There's Facebook. Oh, did you hear that? Yeah, I say it. Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? All right. Deep breaths. We are live today, and unlike our normal Tuesday, we're going to talk about your money questions today. So grab a beverage. Instagram keeps pausing. That's not good. Oh well, we'll do our best. Today I am drinking a nice hot tea. It has been raining for 2 days and it is cloudy, and that makes me kind of sad and cold. So I'm going to drink a turmeric chai. What are you guys drinking today? Normally I drink black coffee, but we're going to try and we're trying to ease off the coffee a little bit. So, all right, thanks for joining me. My name is Brittany Ross. I am a certified financial coach, homeschooling mom thanks to COVID. I am a writer. I am an artist. I own and operate an e-commerce, an Amazon-based e-commerce business with my husband. We started that in 2011. I quit my corporate job in 2012. I've paid off over $170,000 in personal debt. And I'm hanging out here in rainy, rural Ohio. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Today we're going to answer your money questions. So if you have a money question, drop it in the comments. I've got a few that came in yesterday, so we're going to start with those. But if you've got something you want to know about, put it in the comments and I'll get you an answer. Or at least I'll do my best. All right, let's get started. Let's see if I can actually click and do all the things that I'm supposed to do here. Let's start with just an easy one, and that is, what money apps are you using? I had to make a list. I use quite a few. So I don't use a lot of the budgeting apps that people use. I think there's Mint. I think Dave Ramsey has one called Every Dollar. I like to budget by hand I like to type it in on a spreadsheet. I don't like budgeting apps because they always put my purchases in the wrong places. And I like to also use cash a lot. And I don't really track all of my cash because I used to. I don't feel like I need to now, but I used to. So the banking apps, or the money apps that I'm using, are all of my banking apps. I bank at Chase, I bank at Ally, and then I have investing apps like Vanguard and Wells Fargo because that's where my investments are. And then I really like using Acorns because it's super easy. This is not an ad. I know I've talked about it and put it in my stories, but Acorns is an app that rounds up your purchases. And then it doesn't round each one up and make all these tiny little contributions to your account because that's annoying to keep track of. It just does it once a week. So just a lump sum comes out. And generally for me, it's about $5 a week, $6 a week, something like that. And then they throw it into an investment account and you tell them how aggressively you want to invest it. And then I just let it sit. And my plan is, unless I find out Acorns is going bankrupt, I'm just going to let it sit. And in 20 years, it might be it will be thousands of dollars because there's about 800 something in there right now. So I know in 10, 20 years, it's going to grow. But I don't use a lot more than that because I like to just keep track of things myself. I have my own systems, and I don't know, I guess I'm not a Gen Xer anymore. I'm a Zennial, so mix of hand to paper and technology, but I'm on my phone enough. All right. Should you pay off debt before you start the business? Yes and no. So I would hate to tell someone don't get started on your business idea because you don't need to go full time on day one. I did not quit my day job before I started working with my husband on the Amazon e-commerce business before I quit my day job. I worked with him for almost a solid year after work, on weekends, during time off, to make sure that it was a really viable plan. But I'm a risk-averse person. And I had a good job with really good benefits. And that's not easy to give up. And so if you were ever struggling, I don't know if I can give that up, it's because it's a hard thing to give up. Because it is. That's the reality. So should you pay off your debt before you start the business? Yes, I want you to be as debt-free as possible because that is going to help you propel your business. And I just wrote down this stat, and I want to say it's like, it's near 80%. Between 70 and 80% of business owners report using personal cash to fund their business idea within those first 5 years. So the less debt you have, the more cash flow you have available for your business idea. And I paid off before I quit my job, before I even considered quitting my job, honestly, and this isn't advice that you have to follow, this is just my personal experience. I paid off $80,000 in personal debt before I ever stepped out of the corporate world. But that's not a reason to put your business idea on hold. You don't put it on hold and say, okay, well, when I'm out of debt, then I'll get started. Go ahead and get started. But be actively working on getting rid of as much debt as possible, just because it's going to make it easier for you to succeed with your business. You don't have to if your business doesn't have to float all of those personal expenditures that you drug along with you, you're just setting yourself up for more success. So, and if you need help with any kind of debt payoff plan, check out the blog. Let me get you a link to that. I've written about this. Just go into the blog and search debt. I promise it'll be there. I talk about the debt avalanche, and I talk about the debt snowball. And then I talk about, I think it's called the debt flurry, which is the plan that doesn't work. Oh, poor Facebook. I am so sorry. This lighting is bad. I'm looking very ghostly. So if it's hurting your eyes, I apologize. Instagram, you have a much better feed. Okay, we just talked about paying off debt to start a business. So let's move on to this other debt question. What is the fastest way to pay off a credit card? The fastest way, how do I want to word this? So you're paying your credit card off, and it should be part of your debt payoff plan. And whether you're using the snowball or the avalanche method, the snowball being you list all of your debts from least to greatest, and you pay them off in that order. And it's a psychological effect of you pay off those little debts, the smaller credit cards, maybe some outstanding utilities or something like that, lingering medical bills. You pay off those small debts first, and then you roll your payments into the snowball, and you just keep making your payments larger and larger, and you move down through your debts, smallest to largest, and you get those psychological wins. I like the snowball. I've used the snowball, and that's how I paid off $80,000 in debt. And it just worked for me psychologically. I need those little wins. Now, mathematically, the avalanche makes more sense. So that method is you're going to list your debts from interest rate, let me get it right, the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate, because that's going to save you the most interest payments in the long run, regardless of which method you use. What you want to make sure you're doing, the key piece of both of those, is that you're making minimum payments on everything, and then any additional money gets thrown towards that debt. And that's going to be the fastest way. It's not sexy, it's not fun, and it can take a while. But it is going to be the fastest way to pay it off. And that is put everything else on minimums and then tackle one debt at a time. And one little game we like to play, and I know I've talked about this before, but one game we like to play when we're paying debt off, or when we were paying it, or for us now, it's like if we have a savings goal. So say that you're at Target and you see that new sweater. I'm going to use this as a personal example. I saw it on the Target app. I don't know why I was shopping. And there was a sweater, and it was $30, and that is not a lot of money for a sweater. It's not. That's not a lot of money for a sweater. And it was super cute. But I have sweaters. I have a super cute sweater right here. And guess what? I ain't going anywhere. It's winter or winterish in Ohio, and there's COVID. Where the hell am I going? Why do I need a cute new sweater? I I don't, even though it wasn't expensive. And I just had this conversation with a friend, and her sweater was $175, and she's like, I don't know, I don't pay that much for sweaters, but it was super cute. But I'd rather have a house. We're saving up to buy a house. And so the thing is, when you know what it is you want, and then you're tempted by these $30 to $175 sweaters, and you're like, I'm not really going anywhere, and I don't need this. I can take that $30 and I could immediately pay it on my credit card because I was about to spend it, right? So move the money anyway. Take the money you were about to spend, and you know you were about to spend it. You know when you were really about to spend it. Take that and go ahead and throw it on the debt, put it into the savings account. Take it out of the checking account. Move the money immediately because you were about to. And then that's another way that you can speed up those savings or debt payoff goals. Okay, let's see. I've got two more that came in. And if you've got another money question, if I'm not talking about something, if I haven't covered anything here that, relates to you, drop your money question in the comments and I will do my best to answer it. Got some people up there. Sorry, I've got two cameras and I'm trying to look for the next question. Here we go. What is the best way to organize your financial documents? Okay, this is my love language. My friends know that if they need someone to organize something, I'm the person that you need to call and be like, hey, Brittany, I'm ready to get started. Let's dig into those cupboards. I love to organize. I understand that that's weird. It's okay. That's what I'm here for. So the best way. There isn't one way. There isn't a best way. So it's going to depend on you. Ideally, for things like deeds, the titles to your vehicles, wills, any kind of, like if you've paid off any kind of like debt payoff contracts, maybe where you negotiated debt and then paid it off, and so you want that in writing. Yeah, any of those documents where they were sent to you and there's really one copy, ideally, those are in some sort of a folder or file in a fireproof safe. That's ideally for those types of things. And in most banks, if you have certain kinds of checking accounts or savings accounts, a lot of times just as a bank member, you qualify for a safe deposit box, which is another fantastic place for all of those really sensitive documents, the things that like you wouldn't want to lose them in a fire. Hold on, I need another drink of tea. So those are going to be, and you don't need to keep every bank statement, especially if you're doing online banking. I know Chase holds statements online for 7 years, so you don't necessarily need to be printing everything out. Maybe you print off like the year-end statement for things, and you keep those in file folders. I like to organize everything in Google Drive. So for Facebook, oh wait, sorry, I got sidetracked. I like to put everything in Google Drive. I thought I had that pulled up. That would include my budgeting worksheets, my cash flow. Like I do a cash flow statement so that I know what my bank account balance is going to be in 4 weeks, roundabout. I keep a net worth chart in there so that I'm always, quarterly looking at like, well, how much have we paid down on our house? Because I'd really like to own my house. What is in our savings accounts? What are our vehicles worth? So I like to do that. I say quarterly, it's probably twice a year. If you have a debt payoff plan, this might be where you keep it, and then you can have everything in this one Google Drive folder, or if you don't use Google, maybe it's Apple, whatever it is, it's just one central, maybe it's on your actual laptop, and you're keeping it all in one location so that when you need to do all the money stuff, you just go into the folder and all of your files are there. And then I have something, and this is where my money coaches get really upset with me because I forget to tell you that I have resources. So on BrittanyRoss.com/MMMS, and I will pull this up for the folks here on Facebook. Give me just a second. But it is the Monday Morning Money System. And in that, it's $49. And what it is, all right, Facebook, you guys can see this. Instagram, sorry, they don't let us do the screen share. So this is just a money system. This is what I do generally on Monday mornings. And it lets you prioritize all the money tasks in one place. And so in this, I'm including a personal budget worksheet, a spending tracker, recurring expense tracker, so you're never surprised by all those recurring expenses. I give you a list of possible expenses to consider when you're doing your budgets. And then there's tutorial videos that walk you through. There's a money routine worksheet, which is also available for free on my website. But here's the thing that I think is really, this bonus is really useful, and it is the in case of emergency worksheet. So let me show you that. Facebook. I'm going to show you the in case of emergency worksheet, and Instagram, I'll tell you what's in it. So this is included in the $49 package, the Monday Morning Money System. And again, my business coaches are always so mad at me because they're like, Brittany, you never talk about the stuff you make. I'm always on to the next idea. What can I say? All right, so the in case of emergency. So this is a single document that you can print out, or you can fill it out online and then print it. And what you would do with this is keep it in a nice safe place, or give it to a loved one, someone who, if something happens to you, where's all the shit at? What are the account numbers? What accounts do we have? I talk to so many couples who don't have these conversations, and one couple, and in my house, it's me. Surprise, I do all the money stuff here. But if I don't take these kinds of things to Mike and tell him, he wouldn't know. So if you're not having these conversations, your loved ones don't know where the accounts are. And if something happens to you, they're going to be grieving and stressed out and trying to figure out all of this. And women, more often than not, it's us. We tend to marry people who are older than us. And again, this isn't a heteronormative relationship. We tend to marry older men, and men tend to die sooner, and marriages end in divorce. And it's like 50%. So there's just a really good chance you're going to be in charge of the money stuff if you're not already. And I just think this is really important. Okay, sorry, I'm on my soapbox, and it's really easy to get me there. In case of emergency, what would I include? Household personal information. Who's in your house? What's their name, their date of birth, and their social security number? Those are the things that really you need to know. What are the personal assets in your cash accounts? So these would be checking accounts, credit unions, savings, loans. So you would include the asset name, what its value is, what's the account number, is there an interest rate you want to include? What are your fixed income accounts? So CDs, treasuries, bonds, savings bonds, there's a place for all of that. What are the account types? What are the account numbers? Do you own stock? Put that in. Where is it held? What's the ticker? How many shares? Are any of those certificates in a safe deposit box? So if you have things in a safe deposit box, you want to include this in one place. Mutual funds and brokerage accounts. So these, in this little section, I don't have them as retirement, but you're going to want to include brokerage accounts, retirement, and non-retirement. Because if something happens to you, your family has to go and get those benefits. Do you own any annuities? What about other assets? Do you own like a stake, 10% share in somebody's business? What kind of personal property? Is the personal property all held on your property? Retirement accounts, we already talked about that. Real estate, do you own real estate? What's the property address? Where's the mortgage? What's the payment? What's the account number? Do you have a will or a living trust? Put in this document, I would include your attorney's contact information, your accountant's contact information, your insurances. So homeowners, car insurance, life insurances. What are your expenses? So include in here all the credit cards that you have. Include your car payments, include your utilities, because guess what? If something happens to you and they need to contact the electric company in 3 months because something's going on, they can just come to this one central location and find all of that information. So again, that's included in the Monday Money Morning system. That is a tongue twister. And it's $49 and you get the entire package. But you can always just go through on Facebook, on the video, or on Instagram and listen to what I'm talking about and just start creating your own doc. If you're not ready to, buy something, you don't have to, but include everything in one central location because things happen. And in the height of COVID, I think we're seeing that the unexpected should just kind of be expected. All right, let's see. I've got one more from yesterday that came in, and this one I had to do a little research on. Huge medical bills. This is a special needs family. What they want to know is, should they seek out a payment plan or should they go ahead and pay the bill in full? Okay, I had to take some notes. I have not had to deal with large medical bills. We've been very fortunate there. That could change at any moment. We were just talking about that. So I dug in over breakfast and just kind of came up with, this is how so if I had this medical bill looming, how I might process it. And the first thing I'd want to do is evaluate everything for correctness, because we know there are a lot of medical errors. And I apologize, Instagram, your connection is bad. It's going in and out. So evaluate what you owe, check it for correctness. Compare it, if you have insurance, compare it with your, what is that called? Your evaluation of benefits or something like that. So compare those and make sure everything is accurate. From there, I would want to understand what all my options are. So I would want to talk, and I know there's a lot of people out there who, when it comes to talking about negotiating large debts, they talk about it almost always from a collection standpoint. And it's okay to talk to the provider and really figure out, okay, well, what are you billing me for? And be honest about what you can afford to pay. Tell them up front, I really can't afford to pay more than this. Ask questions about, well, what would you charge? If I were paying with Medicaid, what would I be paying? And just have these conversations. Find out, when it comes to paying it off in one lump sum, is there a discount? And what is that? I've got a gnat flying around my face. When it comes to the payment plan, what are the added fees? Is there an interest rate? Is it interest-free for a certain period of time? Is this a payment plan through the provider? Or what I learned about this morning are these medical credit cards. So some providers won't take payment plans, but they do accept medical credit cards. And a lot of times those come with a 0% for like 6 to 12 months. So is that something, basically, that you just want to understand what your options are and what are they going to cost today and then in the long run, so that you can really be evaluating the true costs of everything. Now, let's say that you can pay it in full. Should you? Now, obviously, I want you to be as debt-free as possible, as quickly as possible. I just think that's really important. But if paying this debt off leaves you with $500 and the payment plan isn't going to double your bill, it's going to raise it maybe 10%, but it's not going to double it. I want you to consider what might happen in the months ahead. I don't think, we're definitely not through COVID. I don't know what the economic impact in the months ahead is going to be. I don't know if a stimulus is coming. I don't know if any other, like we had the payment protection paycheck protection plan for small businesses. I don't know if another one of those is on the horizon. I don't know what businesses are going to close. What I do know is that numbers are climbing and that there is an unequal recovery happening. A lot of families are recovering fine, and a lot of families aren't. And if there's any chance that someone in your family could lose income or that you could be left without savings, I want you to think really hard about paying it in full. Now, if you can pay it in full and you're going to have, still have 3 months of expenses in the bank and you feel comfortable with that, then negotiate the hell out of it and try and get the best deal you can. But if it's going to leave you with $500 in the bank, I want you to really look at all the payment plan options. And then once you go into a payment plan option, at that point, we would take that medical debt and we would put it into our debt payment plan. Snowball, it's going to fall in line with those bigger loans, wherever it falls in with the total dollar amount. And if you're doing the avalanche, it's all based on interest rate. So you're just going to tuck it in and just get to work on paying things down. If you've got the cash and you can pay it off, pay it off. And if it's going to leave you really tight, think twice about it right now, especially right now, because I just have some bad feelings. My gut tells me there's still some pain ahead. There's still some struggle ahead as we get through this. Oh, and another thing that I did learn about, especially since you have a larger debt, or if this is going to be something, so this question, your special needs family, was this a one-time thing, or do you foresee more debt in the future, more medical procedures? You have to evaluate what's going to happen, what you anticipate with your family, and it might be wise then to look at hiring an advocate. So there are advocates who will go to bat for you and help you negotiate, help you understand. I don't know what the costs are, but that might be something that you want to look at as well. Whew. We did it, guys. It was 5 questions and 30 minutes later, here we are. Let me see if any others have come in. I don't think so. Instagram, I don't know if you guys are still there or not. They've been fading in and out, guys. They've been fading in and out. It's really sad. Okay, I don't see any other comments or questions coming in right now. As always, thank you for hanging out with me. If you do want that Monday morning money system, if you're like, I don't want to figure out all this stuff on my own, I just want the spreadsheets made for me, I just want the videos that show me how to do it, head over to the site. It is brittanyross.com/MMMS and pick that up for yourself. Instagram, there should be a link in the bio for that system. They're they're business coaches. I did it. I told people that I have resources. And there's a ton of free resources there as well. So just brittanyross.com. Head over and take a look at all of them. Thanks for hanging out with me. I think that's it. Have a good one. Bye, guys. All right, let's go. Let's see if I can end this with some dignity.